Accident of Choice by Literally Mad Lad on AO3. Episode 4. Chapter 3. WWE Wrestling Match with a Merman. That was nearly 2 years ago. Since then, several things happened. Deku was eager to learn about Katsuki. He was disappointed in the posture of Katsuki's tail, but that just made 2 of them. The assistant helped patch him up, make her displane. She screamed bloody murder the first time Katsuki snapped at her for pressing too hard on the wound. Fuck, it hurt. He won't bite, Deku reassured her. The assistant shot a scathing look in his direction, her bangs ruffled and eyes wide. She gritted her teeth and turned back to where Katsuki had resumed his innocence on the deck. She rose and eyebrowed at her, and she glowered at him. "Don't snap at me again," she said. She lowered the cloth back over the wound, and the fires of hell erupted from under the surface. Surface to say, his reaction sent her screaming again. The cuts from the river and waterfall chuckle were mere in comparison to his deformed tail. They tried splinting it for him, but it irritated his crook fins, and he tore off the sprint during the day while they were gone. Overall, Katsuki was given a lot of time in isolation. He didn't mind it. He figured he'd get sick of their ugly faces quicker if he saw them every day. But since their visits were short in comparison to the rest of the walking time, he appreciated it. To an extent. He showed his appreciation by saving the best parts of his meal, the heads of the fish, for Deku and the assistant, which he left on the dock for them to find every night when they arrive. Deku always thanked him. The assistant was reserved and less than eager to be put within biting distance from Katsuki, which wasn't constructive to the work she did. Perfecting his posture required a hands-on approach that she despised and wore reinforced gloves better suited for welding. Deku, on the other hand, was all talk. Katsuki was comfortable using ASL. In fact, Deku called him fluent. It was an ego boost, for sure. But now, the challenge was to accommodate Deku's next challenge, the ability to talk. Deku was adamant that Katsuki should, in theory, be able to communicate like vocal humans do. Katsuki was annoyed by the idea and made it known to the assistant, who was less than pleased to see Katsuki say, "I'll kill that bastard if he thinks he could get me to talk." "You'll do no such thing," she signed back, scowling. She glanced back to where Deku was simmering the net across the other pool. She turned back, concerned. "You won't actually kill him, right?" Katsuki grimaced at the force she used. He resisted the urge to bare his teeth any more than he already was. "Humans don't taste good," he said. "Too soft." "I'm not gonna ask how you know that," she said. "You know what?" Deku called out, voice echoing. "Nothing." Katsuki snickered. Deku was an avid diver, apparently, and swimmer. The first time Deku swam, he had given Katsuki several days' notice, and the assistant had spent all those days leading up trying to convince Deku not to. Katsuki wasn't particularly thrilled to have a human loitering in his literal house. What if the bastard pissed in his water, and Katsuki had to breathe that shit in? Either way, he wasn't thrilled, but didn't oppose it. Deku rolled his eyes each time the assistant insisted that he'd get himself killed. "If Kachan wanted to kill me, he would have done it ages ago," Deku insisted. He had given Katsuki a nickname based off of the one he had left the facility with. Katsuki, evidently. Katsuki was mutually agreed upon after everyone had listened of the audio clip of Katsuki's name. It didn't mean much to Katsuki. And so, the day came. Deku was equipped with a wetsuit, goggles, and artificial fins on his feet. He looked ridiculous. He looked even more ridiculous with his breathing match, which accompanied a backpack of sorts that strapped to his shoulders. Deku first drove onto the other side of the damn well to test his equipment. The assistant was adamant until the end. When Deku told her to raise the wall, she groaned and began reeling the crank forward. which triggered the level to open up. Katsuki circled around one of the pillows further back where he had always seen Deku and the assistant. When he came back around, eyes sharp and glowing in the dark, the damn well had opened up enough for him to see the silhouette of Deku and hear the puffs of oxygen. Deku swam forwards over the threshold, legs propelling him forward. The fins were efficient enough for a human, but still looked ridiculous. It occurred to Katsuki what this meant. He had the entire cave to himself until now. And now, this dumb idiot, Deku was invading yet again, as if confiding Deku to the deck wasn't bad enough. How often would Deku tread around down here anyways? Surely he couldn't breathe underwater that long. It was annoying at best and downright infuriating at worst. Katsuki shot forwards without a second thought. Within a second, Katsuki was grappling for purchase on Deku's vest. Overhead, the assistant was yelling like a goddamn banshee, and he could hear Deku's fast, panic breaths when the oxygen mask was thrusted off, the goggles drifting away with it. Deku's wide eyes were the only in water long enough to see Katsuki's ears flatten back, teeth bared in a snarl, before Katsuki tossed him out of the water and onto the deck. Deku's back hit the wood on a chunk. He rolled on the side, groaning as the assistant ran to his aid. Shiaba dragged Deku away from the ledge as Katsuki reared to the surface, ears flattening back and teeth bared. She jabbed a finger at him and said, Don't come up here! Katsuki raised up out of the water enough to sign, Then don't come down here. But before he could finish, she had grabbed a nearby rock and reared back to chuck at it. Momo! Deku shouted, voice hoarse and winded. He grabbed her by the wrist, and the rock fell short and tumbled into the water. Katsuki ducked low and hissed at them, before settling with just his eyes above the water. Every nerve in his body was rippling, charged with an indescribable possessiveness he was unfamiliar with. He hated it more and more every time he pictured Deku in his stupid diver suit in Katsuki's territory. Why are you defending him? Did you not just witness that, or did Katsuki knock you unconscious too? She shouted. No, this is good. Deku insisted, much to her bewilderment. He's territorial. He recognizes this as his home, and I just tried invading it. This is amazing. The accomplice could only let out a dark laugh. You are insane right now. You know that? God, I thought you were gonna die. You are insane right now. You know that? God, I thought you were gonna die. She dropped forward, her arms around Deku's shoulder. Deku half-hugged her back, and Katsuki possibly bolted when Deku continued to watch him from over the accomplice's shoulder. Okay, yeah, that was stupid. That was stupid, Izuku. Don't do that again. But why do I think you're gonna do that again? Momo being worried, like, the whole time. But I'm sorry. I'm gonna read the first thingy. The first thingy is literally, that was nearly 2 years ago. Since then, several things have happened. Has Katsuki been in here for several years, like in that cave? Oh my god. 2 years? Jesus Christ. Why has it been that long? What's going on? Why? Why? That's my question. That's literally just my question. Why? Why has it been several years? What is going on? I'm concerned. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.